Hello and welcome to Bloodhouse. I'm one of your co-hosts, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your other co-host, Drusilla Adeline. How you doing today, Josh?
Good. We had a little bit of a snafu starting because I was trying to compliment Drusilla on her amazing beret. And then she was like, well, I just didn't want to do my hair. And I was going to apologize, actually, as soon as we got on for looking so bedraggled because I have wet hair and I've just come fresh from the shower and I just spilled a whole LaCroix on my office floor before we started recording. So I'm a bit I don't know, frazzled, which I don't like to be.
But this episode, fittingly enough, is already off to depictions of sweaty, steamy bathroom scenes. So, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah. How are you? What have you been watching? What's up?
I'm doing well. I've been watching, less stuff of late because I've been working more. But I mean, I just watched the new release of Mill of the Stone Women. And oh my God, that movie is amazing. It is like early 60s Italian Gothic. It's the first Italian horror film in color.
Oh.
And so it's very proto Mario Bava, Dario Argento in terms of like lighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's taking its narrative cues from like those Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe movies with Vincent Price.
Wow, I love that.
Tinges of Dracula, and like there's a like whole middle section where they're gaslighting the male lead.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you'll love this. It has one of the best Italian greyhounds in all of cinema.
Oh my God, listeners, I have an Italian greyhound named Edie, who's the most beautiful dog in the world.
She is.
I don't know where
she is.
She left.
Dogs ever. She's the best. But you need to see Middle of the Stone Women. It's so much fun. It's so beautiful. Really tragic. It's a delight. The new Arrow edition is gorgeous. So
they do such good work over there. Every time they put something out, it's just such a beautiful package. Love those guys. Shout out to Arrow. Well, I watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Friday night with a big group of friends. And I have to tell you, Drusilla, my expectations were in the basement. I
haven't seen it, but mine are that far low too.
They were down on parking level 4. So I had like the lowest of expectations, and I gotta say, I loved it.
Really?
And yes, and I was with a big group of friends, including friend of the pod, Michael Kennedy, and we were all there basically planning to make fun of this movie for how bad it is. And we all really liked it. I actually think it has really smart things to say about the genre. You know, like a lot of people have commented on how it seems to be ripping off Halloween, the new Halloween franchise, by bringing back Sally as like a revenge grandma, sort of in the Laurie Strode model.
Yeah.
But I actually think it's not ripping. It's commenting on it in a really brave, funny, cool way.
Interesting.
That I won't spoil. And I also think it has really interesting politics. So I just really liked it. Yeah, I'm
fascinated. I've only heard bad things.
Well, look, I'm a dum-dum, so maybe you'll agree with those other people. But I feel like it's misunderstood, and I feel like I'll be spending the rest of my life defending it.
I have such a weird history with the Texas Chainsaw films, and I don't know if I'll see this new one or not. The scene of people on a bus telling Leatherface that he'll be canceled, I was like, you know what? That's a little too goofy for me right now.
That moment is really cringy, and it's still cringy in the context of the movie. It's not just the trailer, but then there are a few moments. It's not as good as the movie we're going to discuss today, which we'll get to shortly, I'm sure. But it's something. It's something. I think it's one of the better sequels of that genre, of that franchise.
I've only seen I've obviously the original, which is like, in my opinion,
brilliant,
possibly the scariest movie ever made, like consistently. Oh my good God, I love that film so much. I do love Chainsaw Part 2.
Yep. Funny,
Toby Hooper
great,
going full gonzo. Yeah, Dennis Hopper, chainsaw duels Leatherface. What more could you want in a film? The soundtrack,
very little.
Bops. Like, I would love to be murdered to Oingo Boingo. Like, that would be a delight. I didn't see Part 3, but I just
saw it last night for the first time because I was in the mood to watch the ones I haven't seen. It's pretty good.
How is it?
It's fun.
My friend Heather loves it. She's going on about it all the time. So I should see
it.
Though I have seen the fourth one Texas Chainsaw, the new generation, the next generation.
The queer one. Quote,
The
unquote,
one that
queer
I hate more than anything.
Yeah.
I loathe that movie. Um,
Right. Do
and
you
I
find
don't
it
like it being built.
transphobic?
Oh, I find it incredibly transphobic.
Okay.
Like the most, because there's always been like the background of Ed Gein and all of the
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw stuff, but it's primarily been like focused on like, look at this flesh lamp, and not on the like Alfred Hitchcock Psycho side of
Sure.
that. And then
Yeah.
Next Generation is just like runs you down with all of that, and then even the poster marketing
Right,
for
with
that
the
movie being
chainsaw.
being focused on all that stuff is not a I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that movie.
It was released when I was in high school, although I know it had been made earlier than that and was just tabled for a few years. And then, for anyone who doesn't know, it stars Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. So when they became famous, it suddenly got released like years after it was made. So that happened when I was in high school. And so I kind of watched it a lot, but I haven't seen it since then.
And then it has
Yeah.
like a whole conspiracy theory ending.
Like an Illuminati angle.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, like,
Yeah.
again, to bring it back to the Halloween franchise, it's like the Circle of the Thorn thing where it's like,
Ugh, I hate that.
what does this mean? This is so stupid.
Do you know
Anyway.
what? The more these franchises keep getting rebooted and resequeled and stuff, the more I feel like, God, I wish that these were all just really great movies from the 70s that we left alone. Even though I enjoy some of the sequels a lot, and I'm not somebody who's like, against them wholesale. I just feel like, what if Halloween was just this incredible movie from 1978 that we all talked about as if it were Casablanca without like rebooting it and making sequels all the time?
I mean, I'll defend Halloween too. I'll defend that.
I like Halloween
that.
too. I like a lot
Halloween
of these
more
sequels.
than Halloween. Ew. Though I will say, if I'm ever finding myself in the mood that I need for whatever reason to watch a Texas Chainsaw sequel or a reboot or anything like that, I will just stop myself and then put on the 2005 House of Wax instead.
Love that one.
Because that does all of those things beautifully, marvelously, and better.
Yeah. A lot of people, though, will point out that that's really a remake of Tourist Trap.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's much more of a remake of Tourist Trap. They just slapped the House of Wax name on top of it. But it has so much Texas Chainsaw vibes inside of it, and the production design is marvelous.
That was an expensive movie, you can tell.
Yeah. Paris Hilton and My Chemical Romance aside.
Yeah. So before we get into the movie for the day, I just wanted to quickly shout out the listeners. This is the first new episode that we've recorded since we launched, and the response has been so kind and really fun. And I just really wanted to express some gratitude for that. So if you're listening and talking to us and interacting with us and telling your friends, thank you so much. And just thank you. And I guess with that, we should get into the movie. Today, we're talking about a movie from 1983, directed by Tony Scott, starring Catherine Deneuve, Susan Sarandon, and David Bowie. It is adapted from the novel by the same name, The Hunger.
Sarah Roberts is in jeopardy. Hey, lady, how about it? Stay with her. Help her, for she has begun to feel the awful horror of the hunger.
So I guess really quick, I'll just try to do a synopsis of this off the top of my head as I do. Thank you. Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie are centuries-old vampires, longtime companions, and they live in an elegant townhouse in New York City and pose as classical music instructors. They're musicians, and suddenly David Bowie starts to age really rapidly, and he doesn't know why, and it's a big mystery. So he goes to a scientist played by Susan Sarandon, who researches the link between insomnia and aging. And basically what happens is you get kind of a vampire love triangle. And as we always say, things go downhill from there.
Or did they go uphill from there?
I mean, for the viewer, they go uphill. For the characters, perhaps not.
For one of the characters, it goes uphill.
True. It
depending
does.
on your
It's true.
reading of the film.
Yeah.
Um, so all right, I have an interesting history with this one.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, my pseudo stepfather at the time was a massive David Bowie fanatic, like massive David Bowie fanatic. And so I was venturing into cinema, and I have always had a deep penchant and love for vampires. If you know anything about me,
Right.
I read Dracula at a super young age, and it fucked me up forever. Anyway, so when my stepfather in high school was like, yeah, David Bowie did a vampire movie. You should see it. It's nuts. Also, Bauhaus is in it. And I was like, oh, shit, Peter Murphy. Fun. Also, Catherine Deneuve. I've been watching a bunch of Benoit films. I love her. Also, Susan Sarandon. I grew up in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh my God, this is going to be great. I rented it from the library, brought it home, was so excited to see David Bowie Vampire Carnage, and I was so disappointed.
Why? What disappointed you?
If you sell this movie as the David Bowie vampire movie,
Yeah.
and then you go into it and you get this dreamy art house sapphic film that David Bowie's barely in, you'll be disappointed, as 16-year-old me was. Keep in mind, I was also insanely closeted at this point.
Sure.
So aware of these things, but also not wanting to admit that I was aware of these things. So it's a movie that made me uncomfortable, tired, and bored the first time I watched it, and disappointed in the lack of David Bowie sans old age prosthetics.
Right.
So then a couple years went by, and I was always like thinking about it because the visuals and the ideas in this movie are like gigantic. And so I finally revisited it a few years later, again, after coming out, after like leading more of a life and finding more interest in different things, and coming back to it as, an erotic art house vampire film about lesbians. And all of a sudden, it just clicked perfectly into place for me. And it has since become maybe my favorite vampire movie.
Wow.
I wear an onk all the time because of this film. I'm deeply, deeply obsessed with this movie. And have gotten friends deeply, deeply obsessed with this movie who have like no interest in art house, no interest in like 80s goth culture.
Yeah. I guess I had a similar route with this because I saw it as a teenager at some point, and I think I found it pretty boring and then never watched it again until past 10 years or so, and then suddenly loved it as an adult. I think it's it's a really beautiful movie. It was really misunderstood. I was looking at the Wikipedia, and like I think Roger Ebert called it like something like a terminally bad vampire movie, and like critics seem to really roast it. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, it's so elegant, it's so chic. It's got that kind of 80s aesthetic of like a Nagel print where everything is like black or white, and women, it does. The movie looks like a Nagel print. Susan Sarandon looks like a Nagel print.
I mean, the poster isn't nearly Nagel, like,
right.
If goth. It's so interesting because this movie came out in 83, so it was kind of the first of that 80s vampire wave when we eventually got The Lost Boys and Fright Night and My Best Friend's a Vampire, and then eventually Interview and stuff like that.
But the thing is that those movies all feel so 80s, and this, the thing that some people who are maybe too young or not tapped into these things might not understand is that the 80s were very conservative compared to the decade that came before. I mean, we tend to assume that the world gets more progressive over time, and that's just actually not true. The culture,
with time.
Yeah, the culture became much more conservative in the 80s with Reagan and the new conservative movement. So this movie, especially in the context of the early 80s, feels so radical and queer and weird and arty. And the other vampire movies you listed feel very 80s, in that they're sort of about kids in the suburbs, and they have kind of that Stranger Things sort of thing going on. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to point out that like this is a very radical movie for 1983.
It is, and that's kind of what I was getting at, was that all of the like bigger vampire films that like did better at the box office and like probably have larger cult followings nowadays, especially with like Lost Boys and stuff like that,
Yeah.
are all more adolescent male fantasy films.
Yes.
Like
That's
very
really
much
astute.
so.
Yeah.
And even, but they're all queer.
Yeah.
All of those movies, like, and My Best Friend is a Vampire being the like most overtly where like vampirism is like a 1-to-1 with homosexuality. I love that movie. It's the best.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, I don't think.
Oh, it's a delight. I named my car after it. Anyway, but Fright Night is outrageously gay and gets the closest of those into the Hunger territory of presenting the eroticism of vampirism.
Chris Sarandon is so hot in that movie.
He's so fucking hot.
Ridiculous.
And like bopping in a club to Sparks. Anyway, wrong movie. But The Hunger just kind of came out of nowhere, has all of these huge stars in it, and it was doing so much so subversively at the time, and it did like nothing box office wise. And yet it still leaves this mark and this imprint for the next decade or two going forward. All the way up until like the late 90s, and like you can see the stamp of The Hunger coming up in Buffy. You can see the stamp of The Hunger coming up in Twilight. Like it's
I was
there.
thinking about how, when I was watching it last night, I was thinking about how in the 90s as a teen, I played this role-playing game called Vampire the Masquerade. And I was like, holy shit, Vampire the Masquerade is just The Hunger as a role-playing game, like 100%. You know, you're playing like an elegant big city vampire, and it's all about sort of the drama and the melancholy of being an immortal person, an immortal, rich, beautiful person. And I was like, God, it's just straight, including, you know, the Vampire the Masquerade player's handbook had an Ankh symbol on the cover. And in this movie, I mean, I guess we should talk about the vampire mythology in this movie, but they wear Ankh symbols as pendants around their necks, and they are pointed at the end, so they slash people's neck with these necklaces rather than like grow fangs and feed on people that way. So it's a bit of a different take.
The depiction of vampirism and the kind of like mythology of vampirism in this film is so radically different than any other depiction before or after.
It's
and
really
I think that
cool.
was one of the other things that kind of put me off to it when I first watched it, was I was so accustomed to your Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Gerard Butler Draculas. I am a Dracula 2000 defender to the day I die.
Oh my God.
So when, you know, the idea of vampirism and immortality is completely turned on its ear in this movie, it has much more of like a physical, medical, scientific explanation, especially in Susan Sarandon's character and the research that she's doing with monkeys. But then additionally, they don't grow fangs. They are just outright murdering people. Like the opening few minutes of this kind of remind me of the opening few minutes of Titan.
I haven't seen Titan yet, but we have to do it on the show. So that I can
you got to watch Titan.
I know.
And you just get a really straightforward look into what these people's lives are like. Going out to goth clubs, seeing Peter Murphy bellow Bela Lugosi's dead against a cage, picking up random strangers, taking them back, fucking them, and like viciously killing them and then draining their blood.
I think the first 20 minutes or so of this movie are perfect. And although I don't rewatch the movie all that often, I do rewatch the opening on
and the
YouTube.
editing in the opening is
incredible.
Well, the editing in the entire film
artful.
is incredible. It's like Nicholas Rogue level editing.
It's so good. And even David Bowie on the Wikipedia, I saw that he commented on it. He wasn't sure about the finished product of the movie for a number of reasons, but he did say the opening 20 minutes are so amazing that they're, you know, it's like looking directly at hell for 20 minutes, and it's so good, so well done. It
is kind of like a goth 80s depiction of like Bosch by Nagel. It's nuts.
It is this movie is very Nagel. It really has that aesthetic.
I love it so much.
So
apart from the not growing fangs, you hinted at the other aspect of this movie that completely deviates from vampire culture and mythology, which is the immortality idea.
Yeah.
Which is the main conflict of this film, is that Catherine Deneuve is this centuries-old vampire, and she is making companions for herself. And it's kind of implied that she and her at-the-moment companion are kind of the only active vampires in the world, it seems like.
And we see glimpses of them in like 17th century France with their powdered wigs and stuff like that. But just like
meeting
little
in
glimpses.
the stables for the first time.
Yeah.
And we even get some flashbacks to Catherine Deneuve, like as an Egyptian goddess. Like,
I know they kind of infer. I was like, is she supposed to be Cleopatra in this scene?
There's a few stretches of logic, and I'll get to that in a minute. It gets a little goofy. But the main kind of conflict in the center of this movie is that she is a vampire and she is immortal, and she can turn other people into vampires. However, they only retain their youth and immortality for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
For maybe like 300 or 400 years. And then they start to, out of nowhere, rapidly age in a way that is irreversible.
Yeah.
However, they don't die. They reach a point of near mummification where they can't move or speak, or they're basically skeletal corpses, but they are still alive in this living hell. Yeah. And she keeps all of her previous consorts in coffins in the attic. And so
it's really scary.
It's really scary and so sad.
It's sad because, I mean, obviously, David Bowie's character has been lied to. He was told he would live forever. And so he doesn't know what's happening to him.
But he does.
She's pretending...
No, he does know.
Oh, he does?
He does know the whole time. Because he asks her, how long did this take for the others?
Oh.
Was it the same for the others? And she's not responding. She doesn't want to talk about it because it's too hard for her to relive this every single time.
I missed that this time. I thought it was like that movie, The Farewell, where he was dying and didn't know, and she did know and was keeping it from him.
Oh,
like that
alert! I haven't
movie.
seen The Farewell.
It's like a drama by that Awkwafina stars in, where she goes back to China and her grandmother is dying, and the family is not telling her that she's dying. Okay. So I thought it was like that, but a vampire movie, which is not correct.
I would love to see Awkwafina in a vampire film. So as he's aging, he's having these very kind of terse conversations with Catherine Deneuve about, what he should expect from this. And she doesn't want to get into it because it's a tough topic for her to get into, how all of her previous loves for centuries have succumbed to the same thing.
Yeah.
And so when Bowie finally succumbs, like 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Very
quick. So like I was saying, if you came to this to thirst watch David Bowie, you picked the wrong movie. That's Man Who Fell to Earth.
Man Who Fell to Earth, exactly.
Yeah, you got a lot more full frontal on that. So when he's finally kind of put to rest with all of the other ones, and she just kind of like shoves him away in this room full of coffins.
Yeah, she's like, good luck to you.
But she clearly still loves all of these people.
Yeah.
And she tells them to take care of him. And like, as awful as it is that she is knowingly putting all these people through this.
Yeah.
She knows this outcome that they're all going to have. She still loves them so much, and she still has this desire for connection and to be with someone that she's willing to damn them and risk this.
It reminded me a little bit in that way of Let the Right One In or / Let Me In, where like the little girl has to have a companion at all times to take care of her. And you kind of get the sense that, the little boy who's the co-star of the movie will someday become her companion. It reminded me of that a little bit, about like just needing somebody to live through the ages with you, damn the consequences.
Yeah. The relationship dynamics in this are really interesting and fascinating, and the way that it discusses like, disease and mental illness, and in the context of a relationship and mourning and getting over that, and the need to have someone like that in your life no matter what the cost is. It kind of reminds me of, this is like so left field, but the 80s, I think maybe 2 years after this, 1985, Jean-Jacques Benet film Betty Blue.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so good. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
But that's about, a similar, like, sexy, awesome relationship that's so fun, so delightful. And the more it goes on, the more you watch it, the more you realize this is not healthy. These two people are not healthy for each other, but they're the only ones who understand each other, and they kind of have to be together no matter, what the fuck's gonna happen. Kind of like Sid and Nancy, too.
Yeah.
Where, like, you're like, okay, Nancy Spungen and Sid Vicious are not healthy together. You know how this movie's going to end because you know what happened. But you also know that, like, no one makes them happier than that person.
Yeah, it's sort of a big part of goth culture, right? Is the idea, the romance of being doomed. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a big part of the appeal of vampire movies. If vampirism in movies always like represents something, what do you think the underlying thing is in this movie?
I think this movie has a few kind of muddled ideas on that. But in retrospect, looking back on 1983 from a 2022 lens, looking at it through HIV and AIDS is like right on the money. Like right on the money. But the film itself also, conflates it with drug addiction.
Yeah.
Again, like when Susan Sarandon's introduced and begins her liaison with Catherine Deneuve, she gives her blood, and it's very much presented as an addictive substance.
Yeah.
That she's then withdrawing from.
Yeah. I mean, addiction is so central to vampire stories.
Oh, yeah. Generally. Flat out. As well it should be, because it's, it's an important topic that should be discussed, and doing it in a sensational, stylish way like that makes it more palatable and hot and sexy. I don't know.
I wondered to what extent, based on the aesthetic of this and the time it came out and the characters being about 30-ish or appearing to be in their early 30s, to what extent this was about the anxiety that boomers had of aging.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fear of aging in this, especially with David Bowie's character, and Susan Sarandon studies that. And I just kept making me think of, like, I guess because we talked about it on our earlier episode, but it kept making me think of The Big Chill, weirdly. because of Susan Sarandon's like power suit and like shoulder pads, I was like, God, this is like, the boomers were so freaked out about getting older in the 80s. And I wondered to what extent that was in the mix in this movie.
And yet look at Susan Sarandon now. She aged like a vampire. She looks amazing.
She looks amazing, and her hair is a lot better now than it was in this movie. her hair really sucks.
I like her spiky shortcut in this movie. I think she's super hot in this movie.
I mean, it feels like it's for the lesbians, and I think that's great. I mean,
it is absolutely for the lesbians.
Really short hair, and she's constantly wearing these like really expensive white t-shirts with the shoulders rolled up like a greaser, and no bra, so you can see her nipples. And so it feels like
hottest.
It feels like throwing a bone to the lesbians, and I'm all for that.
Well, and Susan Sarandon, like actual human bisexual.
Yeah,
much true. Like David Bowie.
Wait a second. While we're talking about Susan Sarandon, I kept thinking about this, and I couldn't wait to ask you. So Susan Sarandon plays Janet in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
And
I was going to bring this up.
In this movie, her boyfriend is played by Cliff D. Young, who plays Brad in Shock Treatment, the sequel / spinoff to Rocky Horror. Do we think that they discussed that on set?
Oh, I'm sure they did. Because this was like right after he did Shock Treatment.
Right. Do you feel like it was in a negative connotation? Because at this point, I feel like Susan Sarandon was like kind of not proud of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Shock Treatment was a bomb. So I wondered if they were both like shamefully talking about it.
I'm sure it got mentioned. This film was also shot in England, because it's England for New York. Very Eyes Wide Shut. So like, I'm sure like Richard O'Brien stopped by the set or something. I'm sure they like they gabbed about it a little bit. But I like looking at this movie as a Brad and Janet AU. The alternate universe in which he's Brad and she's Janet.
I love that.
They finally don't dream it and they pee it, and she goes off to be a vampire with Catherine Deneuve instead. Which is what we all want.
I didn't know that about London. That makes a lot of sense because as a New Yorker, I was like, there's no house that looks like this anywhere in the 5 boroughs, including like on Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue. Like it just does not exist. So I was like, do they live like up on the Hudson, like in Croton or something?
I think they did some like B unit stuff in New York, but it's like, yeah, mostly filmed in London, which is so funny to me.
It looks so different than New York City.
Which is another like otherworldly thing to the production design and the visual language of this movie. Because it doesn't look like Earth. Like
it's sort of like when you watch those you watch an Italian slasher like Pieces, for instance, and it's set at an American
Pieces
university.
Is a Spanish film.
Oh, Spanish, excuse me. But it's set at an American university, and you're like, there's literally no place in America that has tile like that, let alone like a state university. Because it has like, it's like a 400-year-old building with Moroccan tile or something. You're like, what? This is not University of Kansas. Like, what kind of fool do you take me for? It has that. It does, now that you mention it, have that sort of appeal to it.
Because there's some scenes in this using like alleys and going home at night with this kind of like, especially Bowie when he's really strung out and like near death, where he's just desperate to eat anyone basically. And he's roaming through these alleys and it just feels like a Clockwork Orange. Like it's terrifying.
There's a really chic scene, speaking of that, where someone, like a street kid who's very queer-coded, is roller skating alone in a big, empty, like industrial space to the song Fun by Iggy Pop when he gets killed by David Bowie. And I was like, ugh, this is like everything. This aesthetic is like food for me. Speaking of alleys, though, I want to say this is something that I think about a lot because when I was a kid watching 80s and 90s movies, you know, you would regularly see people get chased into alleyways in New York City movies, and then they're trapped at the end of an alleyway. You know, like that's a trope. There is literally only one alley in all of Manhattan. It is like such a weird thing. There are no alleys in New York City, and we have to dispel this. Yes, there's literally only one, and it's very famous because there's only one of it. So it's like alleys are like such an LA and other cities.
Chicago.
Like Chicago has a lot of alleys. Seattle has a lot of them. LA for sure has a lot of them. But there is only one alley in Manhattan, and so you have to stop putting alleyways into your movies, or you don't. I mean, I think it's fun.
Or set them in Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago could use more movies.
I mean, you can't just have Adventures of Babysitting and that's it. You know, as much as I love that movie. Oh my God! Speaking of Adventures in Babysitting, everyone is tweeting about how it's on Disney Plus now. But there's an iconic line from that movie where she takes a gangster's switchblade from him and she's like, "Don't fuck with the babysitter." And Disney Plus has edited it,
of course.
So it says, "Don't fool with the babysitter." It's so terrible.
That's
it's like
awful.
They do such a bad job.
Disney's the worst.
Worst.
Anyway,
I've taken us way off topic.
Speaking of vermin mice, let's get back to talking about vampires. So, we haven't talked about the kind of big appeal of this movie when it came out, which was the sex scene.
Yeah.
Between Catherine Deneuve and Susan Sarandon. Well, I mean, we hinted at it with the kind of outfit she's wearing with that tight white t-shirt, and good God! Anyway, so in the script in the film, they are at Catherine Deneuve's chic apartment. They're having drinks. They get very drunk, and then Deneuve seduces Susan Sarandon. On the day on set, Sarandon was like, "I don't like that. That takes away her agency. She's fucking Catherine Deneuve. She doesn't have to be drunk to sleep with her.
Yeah.
Let's just go for it." And they did, and I love her so much for that.
That's pretty baller.
It's a very steamy sex scene, it does look like every music video ever.
It's real. I mean, just for people who haven't seen the movie yet, there's like literally white curtains blowing in the wind. The bedding is all white.
I
They have
like-
those sort of tall 80s panties that go up their butt.
Yeah, they do.
It's like very.
I feel like when making The Room, this is the sex scene that Tommy
Yes.
Wiseau looked at for like visual reference.
Yeah, it feels like a warrant video from 1987 or something.
In the best way. In the best way. I mean, Tony Scott, made this as his first film after making music videos and commercials.
Yeah.
So, that's very much on display here. And the sex scene has gotten flagged as being, very male gaze and very misogynistic in the way
Well,
that
it is. But so what?
Well, it is, but it's also like one of the most mainstream commercial depictions of a lesbian sex scene in a long time. And it's also like a pretty tender, it's not, we're still over a decade away from like Bound, but like it's pretty goddamn close and pretty goddamn amazing.
It was also very quickly reappropriated by queer women, and this is a huge touch point for lesbians who love horror because of that reason.
Yeah, for my money, this and Daughters of Darkness really are like the peak lesbian vampire films, and like the best entries into lesbian horror to begin with, without getting too insane and gory and talking about martyrs. But so there was another change to this film and to Sarandon's character and the ending of the film, which I kind of asked you about.
Insisted. Yeah.
So the way that this movie kind of shuffles out is that Sarandon kind of sees what is in store for her. She takes her ankh, slashes her own wrists, and kind of lays on the floor dying. It all kind of goes to hell. And then we get a very nice time jumpy cut to the apartment being abandoned.
Yeah.
And being sold. I'm leaving out a lot of events so that you can watch the movie spoiler free as much as possible. However, they added on a shot at the end of the film where Susan Sarandon is alive and somewhere in presumably the Middle East, on a balcony, and presumably with a man and a woman back in her like bedroom as the sun sets.
Yeah. I read that the studio insisted that, and so it does feel tacked on because it is. They were hopeful that the movie would do well and there could be sequels and spinoffs and stuff like that. But Susan Sarandon reportedly really disliked it because she felt, again, that it robbed her character of agency and sort of undercut the choice that her character makes at the end of the movie. And I agree, it feels pretty bad.
I do agree that it does take that away. Which is, incongruous and is not kind to her character.
Yeah.
However, as a massive vampire fan and admirer and lover of these things, and someone who wishes that she lived in the world in which we got The Hunger 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. I wish we had 4 and 5 and 6. Despite what I said about franchises at the beginning of the episode, let's have 10 Hunger movies.
The Hunger 2, Your Sister is a Vampire.
Yeah.
Hello, Mary Lou, The Hunger 2. I love the ending. Yes, it's tacked on. Yes, it's like contradictory into the world and the characters. But I like the idea of her taking on the mantle of Deneuve's spot as the central vampire.
Well, it's the exact same ending as Daughters of Darkness, since you mentioned that movie. But I like it more in Daughters of Darkness because it feels more a part of the fabric of the movie, and
because it was written in to be part of it. In Daughters of Darkness.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. I think it's more successful in that instance.
Yeah, but I do enjoy and appreciate the ending, which some can look at as like a tacked on upbeat, like she's still alive.
Yeah.
But I honestly think allowing her to kill herself is the happy ending.
Yeah.
I think the studio tacked on ending is actually the sadder, more fucked up ending. Because look at the life that Catherine Deneuve was leading. It was tragic and nightmarish.
I mean, you would live that life in a heartbeat, Drusilla.
Yes, I would!
And
Yes,
so
I
would I.
Just
So
because
you
I
can't
want
be
it
too
doesn't mean it's good
moralistic
for me.
about it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling that. I to me, it feels like a studio insisting something, and it's sort of like that ending at the studio insisted at the end of Death Becomes Her, where they're like still alive after all of. I don't know. It was just like I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Never mind.
I like the ending of Death Becomes Her as well.
That was another one where the studio changed it to be less depressing.
Well, I still think that the studio added on ending to The Hunger is more depressing, but
okay.
That's my takeaway.
I didn't know until this watch that the detective is the dad from Clueless, my favorite movie of all time. That's Cher Horowitz's dad, the cop.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, and I feel really, really bad about it. I always blank on his name.
It's David Hidea?
David Hidea from Blood Simple and from my favorite rom-com of all time, Joe versus the Volcano.
Yes, he's been in a few John Patrick Shanley movies I saw from his IMDb.
If you just imagine in your head a very angry man with giant eyebrows, you're picturing Dan Hidea.
Yeah.
So we also talk about one other surprise cast member of The Hunger. One credited as Street Punk number 1. The on-screen debut of one Willem Dafoe.
He's really cute in this movie.
I mean, Willem Dafoe in a leather jacket around the same time he made The Loveless. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was into it.
I like to think that after surviving the events of The Hunger and continuing her vampiric existence, there is a weird light sleeper AU in which Susan Sarandon goes back and turns Willem Dafoe.
You are inventing a lot of AUs this afternoon, and I love it.
I'm just trying to give the people on AO3 something to do.
Did you ever write fanfic?
Please, someone out there, please write me the Hunger fanfic.
Did you ever write fanfic? I want to know.
I have never written fanfic. I came very close multiple times to writing Buffy fanfic.
Okay.
If you shouldn't be surprised by that at all.
If you had to start writing fanfic tomorrow, what would it be for?
It would be Buffy fanfic.
Buffy.
Come on. It would be Buffy fanfic. It would be like me using every logical leap possible to turn Buffy into a vampire, because it is so insane that show ran for 7 seasons and not a single main character gets turned into a vampire. That is so stupid.
That is kind of wild, but on the flip side, it makes me think of True Blood, in which a lot of people got turned into vampires, and I hated it. So I don't know which is better. Like when they turned Tara into a vampire on True Blood, I was like, get out of here with this. This is so annoying.
See, they should have turned Tara into a vampire on Buffy. That would have been awesome.
They should have done something with Tara. I don't know.
I always thought that Faith should have been turned into a vampire, but
Faith is my favorite character from the Buffyverse. Like if I'm doing a BuzzFeed quiz, which Buffy character are you? It's Faith, because I'm an angry girl in a leather jacket in my heart.
Yeah. Faith, Spike, Drusilla, the best characters on a lovely but broken show.
We have to talk about the makeup in this. So the makeup was by Dick Smith, who's a very famous makeup artist. He's done a lot of
legendary Dick Smith.
I mean, legend. And the makeup in this, the old age makeup, looks very good. I mean, it's significantly better than I wrote down when I first saw David Bowie getting older. I wrote down Mandy Moore in season 1 of This Is Us, because she's like in the present, Mandy Moore plays like a grandma, and the age makeup is so bad and campy, and this is way better than that. And it doesn't always look real, but it looks beautiful and appealing. And the makeup is so good in this.
I think it's 2 things. One thing, Dick Smith was an absolute legend and a master in his craft. So that is taken into account first and foremost. But then additionally, the cinematography, using that like noir chiaroscuro lighting, keeping it really dark, moody, and the shades of blue, only amplify it and make it more beautiful. But then additionally, the subtle work that Dick Smith is doing throughout that whole sequence does not get celebrated enough, because every time you see Bowie next, whether it's between cuts or between scenes, he's aging more. And it's really subtle to the point that you don't realize that he's gone from like 32 to 80 in the course of like 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, it's really good. I read that there was a television adaptation of this at some point. It didn't last very long.
So yeah, the Hunger TV series was in the early 2000s. It was sort of like an erotic horror take on Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, like it was an anthology?
It was an anthology series hosted by David Bowie.
What?
Yes. David Bowie.
Now I'm back on board.
Bowie was the crypt keeper, essentially. Not for every season. I think there's 2 seasons. I think he only did it for 1 season.
Yeah.
And the idea was that every episode would be a tale of erotic horror.
Interesting.
It has nothing to do with the movie.
No, I read that.
It's erotic horror and Bowie's tangentially involved.
I also read that as of 2021, there is a remake in the works.
I hope that never
with
happens.
Warner Brothers. I kind of do too.
So, speaking of the kind of production of this film and its roots and origins, we need to talk about, really briefly at least, the book that it's based on and its author, Whitley Strieber.
Yep.
Who is a very fascinating figure in his own right.
All right.
This is his second adaptation. His first one was the werewolf film Wolfen.
I haven't seen that in ages.
I've never seen it. I've heard it's quite good, but it came out in that early 80s werewolf bonanza with The Howling and American Werewolf and 7 other films.
Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet, yeah. So there's a lot of those to kind of get through that I still need to see. This is his second adaptation. From what I've read, because I still haven't gotten my hands on a paperback of it, I would love to.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, send me a copy of this book. I would. I know love
someone's getting for Hanukkah this year.
So, from what I've read, it's pretty authentic to the book. However, Whitley Strieber is more famous for something else.
What is it?
Being abducted by aliens.
Legendary.
Or so he says.
Right, of course.
Because he wrote the book Communion, which was then his third film to be adapted, which he also
My
the script
jaw
for.
Is on the floor. He wrote Communion?
Communion is about his life.
Oh my God.
And the central character played by Christopher Walken is named Whitley Strieber.
Wow. I did not look up his Wikipedia. That is bananas.
So the man who was probed by aliens
wrote
in
The
Communion
Hunger.
Wrote The Hunger.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna pick somebody to abduct, why not? Why not choose author of Wolfen and The Hunger? I mean, wouldn't you?
Do you think that somewhere out there, Kang and Kodos, because that's who I just imagine all aliens
From The
are,
Simpsons, yeah,
were reading The Hunger, and they were like, you know who I would love to probe next? This guy.
Yeah. I feel like if you can't get, Grace Jones, then B or C list would be author of The Hunger. Because in my head, this took place in 1984 or something. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Grace Jones, also another iconic 80s bisexual vampire.
Yeah.
Vamp is the shit. But again, more from the adolescent male teen fantasy side of things. And not, fronted by a middle-aged French woman.
I was obsessed with Grace Jones when I was little. I know, shocker, because I was really into the Conan movies, and she's in Conan the Destroyer, the sequel. But part of why I was so obsessed with her is because I was, of course, a little queer boy, and I didn't know what gender she was, and I was fascinated by it. I did not know if her character was male or female, and I just could not look away, and I was so fascinated. And there's a scene where she's walking alone with the princess that they're escorting somewhere, and that's their mission. And the princess is I don't know what Grace Jones's character is named, but it's something like Zula, let's say. And so she's like, Zula, how do you attract a man? And Jones says, I grab him and I take him. I think of it all the time. It's such a great moment, such a queer icon.
See, I was also obsessed with Grace Jones as a small queer child as well, but because of a different 80s franchise film that she was in, the James Bond sequel, A View to a Kill.
Do you know that's the only James Bond movie I've ever seen, and only because Grace Jones is in it and Duran Duran did the theme song.
Oh, the Duran Duran song is a bop.
Yeah, it is.
But then you have bleach blonde Christopher Walken serving a much more bisexual realness, a delight, so hot. One of the few like Silicon Valley men I'd let like throw me out of a blimp. And his second in command is Grace motherfucking Jones, who looks like she could like slam you up against a wall and you don't know if you're going to be, killed or what. And the scene in the mines with her and Roger Moore, amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing. Yeah. She's
Love
a
that
delight. Movie. Another one where I grew up looking at both of them being like, there's something here. Something about Christopher Walken, bleach blonde, and Grace Jones that's stirring something in like 8-year-old me or whatever.
Yeah. Listen, Drusilla, I think it's time to play Have They Seen It? Do you have anybody? And this is the game, if you haven't listened before, where we decide which notable figures have or have not seen The Hunger from 1983.
Okay. All right. I would like to know if you think Tony's brother Ridley Scott ever saw The Hunger and what Ridley thinks of The Hunger.
Oh my God, of course Ridley Scott is his brother. That makes so much sense. Yes, I think Ridley Scott have seen this. I think Ridley Scott would probably be jealous of this. I think Ridley Scott would like this movie. Ridley Scott's made really cool movies compared to Tony Scott, who went on to make like Top Gun and shit like that. Like this is the coolest movie I think that Tony Scott has ever made.
Yeah, this is Tony Scott's best movie. However, Tony Scott did consistently make a lot of queer films.
He did? I looked at his IMDb
Top
yesterday.
Gun!
I mean, sure. But it's not a cool movie. Like Top Gun is a very square movie. You know what's
a very cool movie that he made? Domino.
I've never seen that. I don't know.
Domino's the best. You need to see Domino.
Is it as cool as The Hunger?
It's not as cool as The Hunger, but it's the like mid-2000s cool equivalent.
Okay. I'll believe you. I'll see Domino.
See, personally, I think Tony is the more interesting director of the two. So I agree with you when you would say that Ridley Scott would be very jealous of The Hunger.
Yeah.
He should be, because The Hunger is better than anything he ever made.
Yeah, I agree. Well, no, I love Alien a lot. I don't know. I don't want to choose.
What if Alien was lit like The Hunger and had Peter Murphy music?
I mean, it would be, anything would be improved by Bauhaus. Just about anything. Who should I pick? Oh, his song is in the movie. Do you think Iggy Pop has seen The Hunger?
I think because of his liaison with David Bowie.
Yes.
And because his song is in the movie, that Iggy Pop did eventually see The Hunger. He did not see it in theatrical release. He probably saw it in the 90s when someone brought it over on like Laserdisc to watch with him. But I promise you that there's no way that Iggy Pop remembers seeing The Hunger.
Okay.
Yeah, he has seen it, fair. But it has gone in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Hit me one more time. Let's do that.
Okay. Do you think I'm trying to pick okay. Do you think Richard O'Brien saw The Hunger? Considering its Rocky Horror connections.
I don't know, because I actually feel like I don't know much about Richard O'Brien's personal life, right? So like there's a world in which he is somebody who weirdly doesn't see movies. You know what I mean? Like he's such a weird person that maybe he just like listens to opera records and reads old novels. But that can't be so, because he loves old science fiction movies, of course. So yeah, I think Richard O'Brien has seen The Hunger.
Do you think he enjoyed it?
I think he did. I think he's on the fence about it, because I feel like The Hunger is not funny enough for Richard O'Brien. I feel like I think he would think it's a little pretentious, but still like it.
Understandable. What do you think?
I what do I think about
Who
what?
else do you have?
Oh, okay. I've got somebody. This person just popped into my head out of nowhere. This is a random one. Do you think in 90s basketball personality Dennis Rodman has been famous bisexual Dennis Rodman, friend of North Korea, Dennis Rodman?
Double team star.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman.
Space Jam. Is he in Space Jam? It feels like he would be. I've never seen Space Jam.
I know he did all those 90s action movies.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know, but I'm going to go off of what my internal gut and desire is telling me, and I'm going to say, yes, Dennis Rodman has seen The Hunger. Dennis Rodman loves The Hunger.
I love that for Dennis Rodman.
That's
and
all
for
I
us.
want. I have one for you.
Okay.
Do you think Tim Robbins has seen The Hunger?
I don't
Susan
think
Sarandon's
so.
longtime companion, Tim Robbins.
I don't think so. I don't think Susan Sarandon's like out there rewatching her Hunger Blu-ray if she even owns a copy. Like, I think that this is in the mix of movies that she doesn't think about. I used to live in her neighborhood, Clinton Hill in Brooklyn, where her kids live. That was the era when she was like she had a younger lover who was a professional ping pong player, and they opened up a ping pong bar in Brooklyn. I don't know what she's doing now, but she's not watching The Hunger. That's what she's not doing.
I love her. That's her only mistake, is not rewatching The Hunger more often.
I love her too. And even with her politics, people got mad at. I mean, my politics are kind of the same as hers, to be honest. And if I have to choose between Deborah Messing and Susan Sarandon, which gay Twitter makes
Susan
you do,
Sarandon.
100%.
Yeah. Time and again.
Well, I think that's it, Drusilla. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you like us, rate us on all the things. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at bloodhousepod.
And be prepared for next week's episode, in which we watch the Russian... Is it Russian? Ukrainian?
It's debatable, actually. Soviet.
Yes. In which we watch the Soviet vampiric witch classic V.
And thank you. Until next week. Love you.